Your heart works every second of every day. Shouldn't your supplements work just as hard? Introducing 3 powerhouse cardio support products from Protocol for Life Balance. Nattokinase, drawn from a centuries-old Japanese tradition. This remarkable enzyme helps maintain healthy blood flow and normal blood fluidity. Circulation you can count on naturally. Next, ubiquinol. This is the active form of CoQ10 your body actually uses, fueling cellular energy production, neutralizing harmful free radicals, and delivering superior absorption. And finally, Clinical Cardio 6. 6 powerful nutrients, 1 capsule, including L-carnitine to energize your heart, hawthorn, and Mega Natural BP grapeseed extract for healthy blood pressure, and MK7 to keep your arteries flexible. Comprehensive cardiovascular support, all in one. Protocol for Life Balance, science-based professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong research. To order, go to drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. That's drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements. Welcome to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. Today, we're going to visit one of our favorite contributors. He's Nathan Jones. Nathan Jones is founder and CEO of Xlear, X-L-E-A-R, that make products for nasal protection, but also for dental protection. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. He is also very involved in the health freedom movement. He is a pioneer in challenging federal government regulations that throttle down our ability to communicate truthful health information about natural products. And he's quite passionate about that, so we may veer into that area of discussion. So welcome, Nate. And perhaps I should refer to you as Sir Nate, because I understand you just went to Spain and you met with the King of Spain and you were knighted, something like that. I heard something about that.
No, I was not knighted. A friend of mine was knighted.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
I went over to watch him get knighted.
And is he someone who's involved in doing some research on dental health? He's a pioneer.
No, you know him. You've chatted with him.
Dr. Ferreira.
Dr. Gus Ferrer. Yeah.
Dr. Gus Ferrer. So respiratory health. I'm sorry. He's actually been a guest here on Intelligent Medicine. So he received that accolade from the Spanish royalty. So you went to a ceremony there and you got to wear a tux and that whole thing.
Yes. Who's telling you all of this stuff?
I don't know. Did
I send you a picture of that?
Word gets around. I think you did send me a picture, so
okay.
It's actually quite impressive. So, you travel in some royal circles there. And, I guess the next best thing to being a knight yourself is to be present at a knighting ceremony. Hopefully no blood was drawn. The sword was, tapped appropriately to the shoulder. There was no wound healing problem associated with that, although I know that Xylitol may be of benefit. So let's just clear that up. So you're just ordinary citizen Nathan Jones.
Yes.
So welcome back. And for our listening audience, and by now most of our listeners are familiar with the Xylitol story, but in brief, why should Xylitol play a role in dental health and also respiratory health?
Because what xylitol does is it actually modulates, I don't know what the best word is it actually helps you maintain a gateway microbiome. It helps maintain the microbiome in your mouth and in your nose to one that is able to help you have a healthy mouth and a healthy nose, because that's where most of the pathogens enters. That's where your bacteria, ear infections, sinus infections, COVID, all of these things, all of these pathogens are entering through your mouth and your nose. And so we should be paying close attention to those microbiomes, because the microbiome is, if you have a healthy microbiome in your nose and in your mouth, you're not going to get sick nearly as much. And go ahead.
Yeah, we tend to think of germs as being harmful and invasive. And so the goal of medicine, it could be encapsulated is find a bug and use a drug. In other words, to suppress the harmful bacteria. And I think that's been the story of medicine since the 19th century, is this germ theory. that we want to suppress the harmful bacteria. And that has led to certainly some advances because I think fewer people die of uncontrolled infectious diseases. But we're paying a terrible toll for that. And you mentioned that we actually have germs in our nasal passage and germs in our mouth, and that's okay?
It absolutely, it's okay. In fact, I don't want to say it's okay. I think it's important that we do have them and we understand them. Even if you have a very high rate of caries or cavities, only about 10 to 15% of the bacteria in your mouth are going to be harmful. The rest of them are the ones that help us digest our gluten. They're the ones that help us digest milk. They're the ones that help us, create nitric oxide.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have all of these papers, and you're probably well familiar with some of them, where they're saying not to use mouthwash because
Right.
when you use mouthwash, you're killing off the bacteria that create nitric oxide.
As a matter of fact, we just had the author of that paper, Dr. Nathan Bryant, on the program talking. He's one of the world's experts on nitric oxide, and he was actually the one who made that discovery that if you obliterate the mouth bacteria by using harsh mouthwashes like Listerine, for example, I think that's the classic one, it'll certainly get rid of the bacteria, but it will sterilize your mouth. And the essential bacteria that are required for the conversion of dietary nitrates from healthy foods like beets, arugula, green leafy vegetables, that conversion doesn't happen. And the net result is you literally can see a relationship between mouthwash use and high blood pressure.
Well, not only that, but think about this. We started using mouthwashes regularly 50, 75 years ago, roughly. And if you're constantly killing off the bacteria that help us digest gluten that live in our mouth, the bacteria that help us digest milk that live in our mouth, you'd expect to see an increase in people that are gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant.
Which is what we're seeing.
And that's exactly what we see. And so you shouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater here. You should be saying any mouthwash that sits there and says, yeah, we kill 99.9% of all the bacteria. That's a horrible product.
Okay.
You shouldn't be using it. Okay. Stop using it.
But it's widely used. It's FDA approved, but it has downstream adverse health consequences for many people.
Yeah. And so, but most of the mouthwashes that you're going to find in a natural retailer space are not going to have the level of alcohol or the level of these things, whatever they're using. Whether it's what does closest use? They use
chlorhexidine, or
chlorhexidine, or they use a bleach. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But any of these mouthwashes that kill everything, I would only use them if the dentist told me to. And then you ask the dentist, said, "Are you sure you want me to use this because it kills everything?" And if the dentist said, "Still, yeah, use it for a short time
right.
period."
So the benefit may outweigh the risk. If you have like a really bad infection, okay, I get maybe rinse your gums, but not in perpetuity.
Correct. And so I would, if you go to a health food store, hopefully you're going to use Spry because that's what ours is. But most of the brands and most of the products in there are going to have, at the very most, a very low level of alcohol or something that kills everything. Most of them are actually going to be pretty mild compared to the scope and the closest and the and the Listerine.
Right.
And so we got to be careful when people sit there and say don't use mouthwash, because I think it's important for people to use mouthwash. You just got to use one that's not killing everything.
So you have a range of products in the what you call the Spry Dental Defense System, and they are various delivery systems for beneficial compounds based on the central, the secret sauce is the xylitol, right? What does it do in the mouth?
What the xylitol does, and the studies backing this up go back to 1969. But what it does is it actually kills off it starves them. So it doesn't actively kill them, but it starves the acid creating bacteria, the strep mutans bacteria that are responsible for eating the sugar and creating the acid that dissolves your enamel.
Okay. And so, but selectively inhibiting rather than indiscriminately killing. And so we're not talking about something that is an antimicrobial, because there are natural antimicrobials. You can use, potent forms of oregano. There are actually ingredients. Thyme oil is actually a traditional ingredient in mouthwashes that kills off bacteria. But that's not the approach that you take. You're sort of trying to regulate the microbiome.
The very first thing you want to do is regulate the microbiome. Xylitol is, as far as I'm aware, and I read a lot of research and studies on this, xylitol is probably the best thing you're going to find out there. Erythritol, 15 years ago, they started putting out a lot of press about
Yep.
erythritol,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's a little bit of a smaller molecule.
Yeah.
It's because xylitol is a 5-carbon sugar, erythritol is a 4-carbon sugar. And they thought that erythritol was going to work better than xylitol.
Mm-hmm.
The studies haven't borne that out over the last 15 years. Xylitol is still the number one sugar that you can use that starves this acid-creating bacteria.
Moreover,
And
they
not only
discovered a
that-
danger signal, and I think you're going to allude to that. They discovered a danger signal around erythritol vis-a-vis cardiovascular risk, I think.
Well, I would make the argument that even that one paper that came out of the Cleveland Clinic was not even a very well done paper.
Mm-hmm.
And just a quick logic behind it is people have been using erythritol for decades as an alternative sweetener,
Right.
and they haven't really seen an increase in their cardiovascular issues. And Mark Cannon would probably be a better guy to come in and talk about this,
Okay.
because what he points out is that in this paper that they wrote, they were looking at people that already were having heart issues.
Okay.
And your body produces erythritol
Right.
as a response somehow. And I'm not positive on I've had the discussion once or twice, but
Right.
I'm not, by no means
Right.
am I an expert on this. But somehow your body is producing
Right.
higher levels of erythritol and xylitol when it's stressed.
Okay. So in other words, correlation is not causation. The mere fact that people had higher levels of erythritol does not mean that dietary erythritol, which is ubiquitous in sweeteners, they use Truvia a lot, which is kind of takes the edge off stevia. Stevia, for some people, leaves an unpleasant aftertaste, but when you combine it with a little erythritol, you get Truvia, which actually tastes fairly decent. I think a lot of people have bailed on erythritol, and I think xylitol has not shown any of those potential drawbacks.
Yeah. And so, but erythritol also, it hasn't been shown to be any better than what xylitol is.
Okay.
There's a lot of good data out there showing erythritol helps reduce tooth decay, but it's not any better than what xylitol is.
Okay. So
And
they're
so
both
we've kind of
sugar
stuck with
alcohols and
xylitol.
maybe similar. What are the different ways that you can get xylitol for mouth care? You have a product, I think it's called Rain. Is that correct?
We have a number of products, because the key to successfully or to having great oral hygiene with xylitol is you want to make sure that you're using it a couple of times a day throughout the day. And the reason for that is because you're starving the bacteria. And if you only starve them once a day, that's kind of like taking away your breakfast. It's breakfast, who cares? You still got lunch, dinner, and late night dinner, and 4 or 5 snacks in between. And so it's the same thing with xylitol and erythritol, or xylitol and strep mutans bacteria. You want to use it a couple times throughout the day. And so the best delivery system for xylitol is actually chewing gum, because it provides a big burst of xylitol. You're chewing, and so you're actually getting saliva flowing,
Mm-hmm.
which is also very good and protective. The next best would actually be in mints, because you're
Right.
sucking on them for a long period of time.
Literally, my
And-
mouth is a little dry, so I'm going to permit me to have a little, it's the peppermint mint. I also like the cinnamon, but not during podcasting, because the cinnamon's a little strong. I might,
Anyways, but the mints are good. And then the next best thing to do is use a toothpaste and a mouthwash with xylitol.
Mhm.
And we provide all of those, because the goal, if what you want to do is make sure that you're using products, you start to see the benefit at 3 times a day. And after 5 times a day, it kind of plateaus
Mhm.
as to what the benefit is. So you want to use it 3 to 5 times a day. And so you want to use different products. You want to have a variety of products. We have a number of different flavors of gum. We have a number of different flavors of mints. We have toothpaste. We have mouthwash. You have the Rain, which is a dry mouth product. It helps moisturize the mouth, keep it hydrated. We have,
which
we
is a
actually
big
have
problem as
coming out-
people age. They have the inability to produce adequate saliva, or perhaps they've had certain procedures that cause them to have a dry mouth, certain forms of chemotherapy, treatment for oral cancer. These are, and certain drugs actually cause dry mouth. So it's a great product for the senior population.
Yeah. um, anyway, so we have that product. We just came out. In fact, like I mentioned before we started, we have a couple extra products that are coming out, but we're going to have gummy candies
Mm-hmm.
available for people who don't want to chew gum. We
Mm-hmm.
originally developed it for the schools because the best place for xylitol to be handed out to the public is actually be in schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's where all the studies were done, where they showed you actually clean the strep mutans bacteria out of the kids' mouths. But the schools kept coming back and saying, well, we don't want to have gum in our schools. The kids are all chewing it
Makes a
anyways.
mess.
We'd
Yeah.
rather hand
Right.
out candy.
Right.
I mean, they're handing out so much candy in our schools anyways. But so we actually developed a gumdrop candy type of thing for them. And I hope that they use it in the schools. Again, I think they'll come up with an excuse not to, but they should. Um, the other thing we have is now we have a dental probiotic
Hmm.
that will be on the market in the next couple of days. We've been working on that for the last year, trying to get it finalized. We first brought one out about, I want to say 15 years ago.
Yeah, I recall that. Yeah, there was a bit of a splash, and then it didn't. Did you not follow through on that because there were some constraints on production?
It wasn't that we didn't follow through. I think it was 15 years ahead of its time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
There were a number of big companies like 3M. I mean, they're a big company. They came out with a dental probiotic. We came out with a dental probiotic. There was 4 or 5 companies that came out with a dental probiotic because we understood. But you go back 15 years ago and people barely understood what a gut probiotic was.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're reintroducing that. I think it's a much better product than what it was 15 years ago. And I'm looking forward to talking about that, maybe 6 months down the road or something. But it comes in a little sachet, like a pixie stick almost,
Mm-hmm.
and kids can just eat it. It tastes like candy. It's a strawberry flavored, and it comes with vitamin D. It comes with calcium glycerophosphate, which is a form of calcium that's absorbed right into the enamel. It comes with sodium trimetaphosphate, which helps absorb the calcium into the enamel. What else does it come with? I mean,
Any
it's obviously xylitol.
prebiotic to help the
Well,
bacteria?
xylitol is a great prebiotic.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So
I'll send you a box as soon as they get off the line.
please do. Yeah. No, I definitely want to try it, and because I'm looking at the full range of products. Okay, folks, at this point, let's pause and allow one of our sponsors an opportunity to share an important message with you. So here goes. Listen up. Your heart works every second of every day. Shouldn't your supplements work just as hard? Introducing 3 powerhouse cardio support products from Protocol for Life Balance. Nattokinase, drawn from a centuries-old Japanese tradition. This remarkable enzyme helps maintain healthy blood flow and normal blood fluidity. Circulation you can count on naturally. Next, ubiquinol. This is the active form of CoQ10 your body actually uses, fueling cellular energy production, neutralizing harmful free radicals, and delivering superior absorption. And finally, clinical cardio 6. 6 powerful nutrients, 1 capsule, including L-carnitine to energize your heart, hawthorn, and mega natural BP grapeseed extract for healthy blood pressure, and MK7 to keep your arteries flexible. Comprehensive cardiovascular support, all in one. Protocol for Life Balance, science-based professional-grade products using ingredients backed by strong research. To order, go to drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. That's drhoffman.com/protocol for life balance. Protocol for Life Balance is an A-rated GMP manufacturer of premium dietary supplements.
Are you ready to experience the future of digestive wellness with Dr. Ohhira's new and revolutionary postbiotic fermented food concentrate? Capsule-free and in individual sachet packets that harness the power of 5 years of fermentation and over 500 concentrated bioactive postbiotics. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate is a nutrient-dense paste designed to supercharge your digestive health, aid in nutrient absorption, and support whole body immune wellness. Each sachet packet delivers a potent blend of fermented paste and prebiotics which serve as fuel for your body's own unique gut microbiome. This concentrate supports your entire digestive tract, does not need refrigeration, non-GMO, dairy, and gluten-free. Dr. Ohhira's postbiotic fermented food concentrate. It is the ultimate embodiment of traditional Japanese fermented craftsmanship, designed for those who seek the highest concentration of nature's restorative power in every serving. Ask your natural products retailer for it today or online at essentialformulas.com.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. They are what make Intelligent Medicine a continuing free resource to you. And now, back to today's guest, Nathan Jones, the CEO of Xlear, Xlear. I got to say that I use your products regularly, and I'm a terrible dental patient. I keep getting, calls from the dentist like it's time to come in, and I just can't be bothered until something bad happens, and it rarely does. And, but sometimes I go in voluntarily, and they do that whole thing, the cleaning and the scaling and all that stuff. And the flossing, they floss, the dental technician flosses for me. And then they say, congratulations to me. You've been doing a great job flossing, which I don't do,
and then you're like, the last time I flossed I was sitting in this chair.
Yeah, right. But I, knock wood, I've been having, pretty good run of it in terms of dental. And, and I was a kid who, had the usual problems eventually, with fillings. But it kind of topped off after the age of 20 or so. Good diet, I think, plays a role in that. Let's give props to diet. What's the role of diet in maintaining a healthy mouth microbiome and preventing cavities?
Well, I think that what they taught us as a kid still stands is sugar. Sugar is the number one driver of cavities. I mean, contrary to what our Surgeon General says, and I'm referring to the Surgeon General in 2000.
Okay.
Because in the year 2000, the Surgeon General wrote don't quote me on this, but it was like a 25-page paper on how oral health is synonymous with overall health.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And even in 2000, the state of oral health in the United States was declining. And it's been declining, and it's still declining. Mm-hmm. We're getting more cavities now than we did in the 70s and the 80s.
And certainly more gum disease, too, which results in tooth loss.
Absolutely. But in that 320 some odd pages, I think they mentioned the word sugar like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, my goodness.
You're talking about the number one cause of tooth decay, and it's getting mentioned 3 or 4 times in a paper by the Surgeon General. What they talked about was drug use, alcohol use, tobacco. They talked about everything except sugar.
Yeah. Well, they didn't want to.
Again, nothing was ever done.
They didn't want to poke the bear, which is big food, which is responsible for really introducing a lot of extraneous sugar into the diet. And I think around that time they came up with this notion, which is, why isn't dental health considered primary medical care? In other words, you go to the doctor, and the doctor checks all your systems from stem to stern, but usually it's compartmentalized. You go to the dentist to make sure that you don't have cavities, your teeth isn't falling out, and you go to the doctor, and you may be suffering from a medical condition that's directly related to the condition of your teeth and gums.
Well, I 100% agree. I think that they should be looking at the dental aspect of our health a lot more than they do. But, I think the dentists bring it on themselves. I don't think the dentists want to be part of the bigger, and I'm talking the dental industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. I don't think they want to be part of the medical community and all that comes with it.
Yeah.
Because I think that the medical part of that is much more regulated than the dental part. And I don't think the dentists want to jump into that or jump onto that wagon, but they need to. But, the dentists, I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely, but dentistry...
You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, because you have a lot of dentists who are proponents of xylitol, right?
There's a lot of great dentists who actually talk about prevention and talk about xylitol, but the dental industry as a whole is almost
they're reactive.
Example.
They're reactive.
Exactly. It's the perfect example of how our healthcare system treats the symptom. Our healthcare system treats the symptom. Like, that's a lot of, but it's treating the symptom and trying to prevent the symptom. Our dental industry is very fluoride centric.
Yeah.
Which fluoride, if you believe everything they say about it, just makes the enamel stronger, but it doesn't treat the bacterial infection. You go to a mainstream dentist and tell me when the last time you went into the dentist and he said, hey, you know what? it looks like you have a strep mutans bacterial infection in your mouth. We know how to treat that. It's pretty easy. Let's just go put you on some xylitol gum for a couple of months,
Right.
and then come back and let's do another culture. And they don't.
What
It's use more fluoride.
I never had that done, but I imagine preventive dentists now have the tools by which they can, at each dental visit, assess the oral microbiome, just as we assess the gastrointestinal microbiome. We can do analysis.
They have had those tools for over 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and the dentists don't use them. They're choosing not to use them.
Yeah.
They're not pushing to use them. There was a company called, I don't think it was Oral. It might have been Oral DNA was the first one that came out. It's like 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go in and they should. When you go into the dental office, they should, in my opinion,
Yeah.
the very first thing they should do is swab your mouth
Mm-hmm.
and get a culture run on it so they know exactly what bacteria they're treating.
Right.
And then they can come in and treat that bacteria, because they have tests now, and we are actually coming out with one in the next couple of weeks.
Oh.
Where we're going to have our own testing kit where you can come in and you can see that our products are actually doing exactly what we say they do.
Direct to consumer or only available through dental professionals?
Direct to consumer.
Oh, great.
You're going to be able to go in and we're working on how to get it out there, because right now
Mm-hmm.
they're fairly expensive. I
Yeah.
mean, in the big scheme of things, they're not, but it's like $180
Yeah.
for the testing kit, for the lab fee and everything. But what I think we're gonna do, I don't know if I should say this because then people are gonna hold me to it, is I think what we're gonna do is you buy the kit and we'll send you $100 worth of free product, and you can use the kit, go use our product, and you're gonna be able to test again in 3 months.
Do
and
a
say,
pre
hey,
and
you know what?
post. Yeah.
Yeah. And say, you know what, my strep mutans level went from, 18 down to 2.
Well,
or
I think
something like
that's a great public service, but I also think it's a great marketing technique, because it's kind of hard to assess the benefits or lack thereof of a dental product that you're using on a day-to-day basis, because the benefits may only emerge, in 5 or 10 years in terms of the amount of gum disease, tooth loss, and cavities that you have. So it'd be nice to get some kind of instantaneous feedback, just as, when you take various measures to protect your cardiovascular health, you get feedback pretty quickly. Like, is my cholesterol going down? Is my HDL coming back, up? Are my triglycerides going down? You actually can, before you get that heart attack or the bypass surgery, you actually get a kind of a quick turnaround report card on, how am I doing? How am I doing?
Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll have that test kit out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We should have it out and no later than the end of July. I was shooting for the end of June, but I think it's going to be the end of July.
Well, how about, commemorating our 250th anniversary, it's like a red, white, and blue special. I think
we should do that.
That might be good. A special promotion. All right. How do people find out about y'all over there? It's xlear.com.
Yep. xlear.com. Any studies or stuff, and I want to put this out there, any studies that I reference are usually listed on our webpage. I encourage people to go read on them. I don't want you to just trust me and believe me. I want you to go and read the data and the studies and punch holes in it if you can.
Okay. All right. We've laid down the groundwork for discussion part 2. I want to shift to talking about respiratory health. And there's a close relationship between the mouth and the sinuses, and therefore the lungs. So when we return, more on the subject of the benefits of xylitol-related products. And, exciting that you're sort of branching out from xylitol-related products to just a whole line of products that support dental and respiratory health. So xlear.com, that's Nathan Jones, and we'll be right back.